Alexander! You no longer have control over my life!
I never lost that right. You left, took everything that belonged to us.
My name is Elena Carter. I'm a pediatric heart surgeon, a woman who has dedicated her life to saving the fragile hearts of children. But what I never expected was for my own heart to be shattered by a single message just days before my wedding. I disappeared, carrying the biggest secret of all, his twin sons. 12 years later, the rain brought him back, and with him came a conspiracy that could take everything from me, including my life.
Before I share the rest of this story, tell me where you're watching from in the comments, hit like, and subscribe if you've ever faced something that forced you to fight alone.
The rain hammered against my bedroom window that Tuesday morning, each drop a tiny fist demanding attention. I'd grown used to Seattle's moods. The city wore rain like a permanent accessory. But today felt different. Heavy, like the sky was trying to tell me something. "Mom, Ethan took my cereal again." Liam's voice pierced through my morning haze. "Did not. You left it on the counter," Ethan shot back. I rushed into the kitchen, still buttoning my white coat, to find my 10-year-old twins engaged in their daily breakfast warfare. Ethan had Liam in a headlock while somehow still managing to shovel Lucky Charms into his mouth. Despite the chaos, I couldn't help but smile. They had his eyes, those storm gray eyes that still haunted my dreams 12 years later. "Boys, please. I have a surgery in an hour." I separated them with practiced ease, grabbing coffee with one hand and my phone with the other. 3 missed calls from the hospital. My patient, baby Sarah, needed me. "Is it the baby with the broken heart?" Liam asked, suddenly serious. Both boys had inherited my fascination with medicine, though they expressed it through constant questions rather than textbooks. "Her heart isn't broken, sweetheart. It just needs a little help to work properly." I kissed both their foreheads, tasting the sugar from their cereal. "Mrs. Chen will pick you up after school. Be good." "When are we going to meet our dad?" Ethan's question stopped me cold at the door. Every single morning. The same question, delivered with the timing of a sniper. "We've talked about this," I said, my voice carefully neutral. "It's just us 3. We're enough. But Tommy's dad coaches soccer, and Maya's dad builds robots, and your mom saves babies' lives," I interrupted, forcing brightness into my tone. "Now grab your backpacks. The school van will be here any minute." I watched them from the window as they waited under the covered entrance of our building. At 10, they were already too smart, too observant. They knew other kids had fathers. They knew our family photo albums had torn edges where someone should have been. My phone buzzed. Text from the hospital. "Dr. Carter, please note Mr. Alexander Graves will be touring the cardiac unit today. Major donor, board requests your presence after surgery." The coffee mug slipped from my hand. It shattered on the marble floor, brown liquid spreading like an oil spill. Alexander. Here. After 12 years of carefully constructed distance, he was walking back into my world. Through the rain-blurred window, I saw a black Tesla pull up where the school van should have been. The driver's door opened and time stopped. He stepped out holding an umbrella, his tall frame unchanged by the years. The rain created a curtain between us, but I would recognize that walk anywhere. Confident, purposeful, like the ground arranged itself to meet his feet. He was heading toward my sons. "No, no, no," I whispered, pressing my palm against the cold glass. Ethan, ever the bold one, was already talking to him. I saw Alexander crouch down to their level, his face animated with that easy charm I'd once loved. He was pointing at his car, probably offering them a ride. My phone rang. Mrs. Chen, the boy's usual driver. "Dr. Carter, I'm so sorry. The van broke down. But don't worry, Mr. Graves happened to be visiting the school for the STEM program donation. He offered to drop the boys off. Such a kind man." Kind. If only she knew how his kindness had shattered me. How I'd found those messages on his phone 2 weeks before our engagement party. How his secretary had described their nights together in vivid detail while I carried his children. "Mom saves babies!" I heard Liam's excited voice drift up through the rain as he climbed into the Tesla. "She's gonna fix one today." Alexander looked up then, straight at my window. 5 floors up, through the rain and distance, our eyes met. His hand froze on the car door, the umbrella tilted, rain soaking his shoulder. For a moment, I saw it. Recognition, shock, something that might have been pain. Then Ethan tugged his sleeve, breaking the spell. Alexander helped my sons, our sons, into his car. He looked up once more before getting in, and I stepped back from the window, my heart hammering against my ribs like rain against glass. The twist of fate I'd spent 12 years avoiding had finally found me. And it had arrived in a Tesla, carrying my secrets in its back seat. My hands shook through baby Sarah's surgery. For 3 hours, I rebuilt tiny cardiac valves while my own heart threatened to explode. Dr. Williams, my assistant, noticed. "Elena, you okay? Your hands—" "I'm fine." I steadied my breathing, focusing on the miniature heart beneath my fingers. This baby needed me whole, present. My personal catastrophe could wait, but it couldn't. As soon as I stepped out of OR, my phone exploded with texts from the boys. "Mom, the cool car guy knows about cardiac mathematics. He explained quantum computing better than Mr. Peterson. He has the same weird thumb thing I do when I hold a pencil." That last one from Ethan made me lean against the wall. The thumb thing. Alexander's grandmother had it, he'd told me once. "Genetic," he'd said, tracing my palm in the dark of our Columbia dorm room. "Dr. Carter?" I spun around. The hospital administrator stood there with a smile that meant trouble. "Mr. Graves is waiting in the boardroom. He specifically requested to meet our pediatric cardiac team. I have post-op. Dr. Williams can handle it. The board insists." 20 feet. That's all that separated me from him now. 20 feet of hospital corridor that might as well have been 12 years of silence. I smoothed my coat, tucked escaped strands of hair behind my ears, and walked into my past. He stood with his back to me, studying the wall of children's drawings, thank you cards from patients. The afternoon light caught the silver threading through his dark hair. When had that happened? When had we gotten old? "The babies you save," he said without turning. "They draw you as a superhero." "Mr. Graves." I kept my voice professional, clinical. He turned then, and I wasn't prepared. Photos in business magazines had shown me his face over the years, but they hadn't captured the weariness in those gray eyes, the new lines that suggested sleepless nights. He looked like a man who'd been searching for something. "Elena." Just my name, but waited with everything unsaid. "It's Dr. Carter." I crossed my arms. "You wanted to discuss the donation?" "I wanted—" He stopped, studying me like I was a complex equation. "Your sons. This morning. They're patients. Many of our staff have children who attend Westminster Prep." The lie tasted bitter. "They look like— Mr. Graves, if you're here about the cardiac program—" "Stop!" He moved closer, and I caught his scent. Cedar and rain, unchanged. 12 years, Elena. 12 years of silence, and now you're standing here pretending we're strangers? "We are strangers." I met his gaze steadily. "The people we were died a long time ago." Something flickered across his face. Hurt, maybe, or anger. "Is that what you tell yourself? That we died? Because I've been very much alive, Elena. Painfully alive. Wondering every day what I did to make you disappear 2 weeks before our wedding." The audacity of it, playing victim, ignited something volcanic in me. "What you did? Should I list it alphabetically or chronologically?" "What are you talking about?" "Jennifer." I spit the name like poison. "Your secretary? The one who described your Thursday nights in her apartment? The one whose messages I found on your phone?" His face went white. "What messages? Elena, I never—" "Don't," my voice cracked. "Just don't. I saw them. I saw everything." "You saw what someone wanted you to see." His voice turned urgent. "Elena, I was set up. The board was trying to force me out. They manufactured evidence, hired people to—" "Stop." I backed toward the door. "I won't listen to this." "The boys," he said suddenly. "Those boys who look exactly like my mother. Who have my genetic thumb anomaly. Who talk about quantum physics at 10 years old. Tell me they're not mine." The room went silent, except for the rain against windows. I could lie. I'd gotten good at it. But looking at him now, at the desperation in his eyes, the words wouldn't come. "They're mine," I said finally. "Only mine. You gave up any claim the night you chose her." "I never chose anyone but you." His voice broke. "Elena, please. Let me explain what really happened. I have patience. I reached for the door handle. I'm not going anywhere, he said to my back. I'm the hospital's biggest donor now. We'll be seeing each other. And those boys, I think they deserve to know. I whirled around. You come near my sons, and I'll destroy you. I don't care how much money you have. But as I stormed out, I knew the threat was empty. The truth had already started its work, spreading like cracks in glass. Soon, everything would shatter. That night, I sat in my closet holding the box I'd sworn never to open again. Inside, 12 years of denial wrapped in faded paper and dead dreams. My hands trembled as I lifted the first item, a sketch on napkin paper from our favorite coffee shop near Columbia. Cardiac bypass system for infants. His handwriting read. Ease idea, smaller tubes, biomimetic materials, revolutionize everything. We'd been so young, so brilliant, so stupid in love. I touched the napkin to my lips, tasting the ghost of espresso and possibility. Mom, Liam's voice made me jump. Both boys stood in my doorway, rain damp from soccer practice. Why are you crying? Ethan asked, always the direct one. I'm not. I touched my face. Wet. Just tired, baby. They exchanged that twin look, the one that meant conspiracy. Liam climbed into my lap while Ethan studied the box with scientific interest. Is this about the car man? Liam whispered. What? No. Why would you? He looked at you weird, Ethan said, through the window, like how you look at us when you think we're sleeping. My genius boys, too observant for anyone's good. Also, Ethan continued, pulling something from his pocket. He gave us this, a business card. Alexander Graves, CEO, MedTech Innovations, but on the back, in his handwriting, I never stopped looking for you, A. The room spun. He had no right. Mom. Ethan's voice turned serious, older than his years. Are we the reason you're sad? What? No, never think that. I pulled them both close, breathing in their shampoo and soccer smell. You two are the only thing I did right. Then why don't we have a dad? Liam asked into my shoulder. The question I'd dreaded and prepared for but never could answer honestly. Sometimes people who love each other can't be together. Sometimes they hurt each other too much. But what if they were wrong? Ethan, my little philosopher. What if they just misunderstood? From the mouths of babes. After I tucked them in, I returned to the box. Deeper now, past the love letters and photos, to the evidence that had shattered everything. Screenshots I'd printed in a rage 12 years ago. Jennifer's messages. Last night was incredible. Can't wait for Thursday. Your fiancé doesn't know what she's missing. That thing you do with your tongue. I forced myself to read them again, looking for what Alexander claimed, evidence of fabrication. But they seemed so real, so specific. Time stamps matching nights he'd worked late. Details only someone intimate would know. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Elena, please. One conversation. Let me show you the proof. A. I deleted it. Another buzz. I hired a private investigator after you left. I know who set us up. A. Delete. Our sons deserve the truth, even if you don't. A. That one I stared at until the screen went dark. A knock at my door made me jump. Too late for visitors. I peered through the peephole and gasped. Alexander stood in the hallway, soaked despite the umbrella at his side. I know you're there, he said quietly. Your neighbor let me in. Mrs. Patterson? She remembered me from 12 years ago. Said she always wondered why I stopped coming around. I pressed my forehead against the door. Go away. I'm not that man anymore, Elena. The one who gave up, who didn't fight hard enough when you left. I'm not leaving until you hear me out. I'll call security. Do it. His voice was steady. Let them drag me out. I'll come back tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. I've already lost 12 years. What's a few more nights in the rain? I cracked the door, chain still on. You're insane. Probably. He looked terrible up close, exhausted, saturated, desperate. 5 minutes. That's all. Let me show you one thing, and if you still want me gone, I'll disappear. Forever this time. The smart thing would be to slam the door, call security, protect the life I'd built on the ashes of us. But those ashes had never quite cooled, had they? And my boy's questions echoed, what if they just misunderstood? 5 minutes, I heard myself say, and you stay by the door. When I let him in, he dripped on my marble floor like that morning's spilled coffee, another mess I'd have to clean up. But his eyes held something I hadn't expected. Hope. As if these 12 years had been just a pause, not an ending. I was about to learn how dangerous hope could be. Alexander pulled a water-damaged laptop from his messenger bag. This was my computer from 12 years ago. I've kept it all this time hoping. That's your proof? A dead laptop? The hard drive survived. It has everything. Emails, timestamps, the metadata proving those messages were planted. He set it on my counter like evidence in court. But that's not the important part. From behind my bedroom door came a crash. Then whispers, Ethan, you're too heavy. Shut up, I'm trying to hear. I yanked open the door to find my sons in a tangle of limbs, Ethan having clearly stood on Liam's shoulders to peer through the keyhole. Boys! They scrambled apart, trying to look innocent. Their pajama-clad forms would have been comical if not for the betrayal of it all. Is that him? Ethan asked, abandoning pretense. Is he our dad? The question hung in the air like Seattle's perpetual mist. Alexander had gone rigid behind me. I felt the moment fracturing, splitting into before and after. Boys, go to your room, now. But Mom, now. They trudged away. But not before Ethan shot Alexander a look of pure calculation. I knew that look. It meant trouble. You need to leave, I told Alexander, not trusting myself to turn around. They know. His voice was wondering, broken. Elena, they know. They can sense it. They know nothing. But even I heard the lie. I have twins. He said it like a prayer. I have sons. No. I whirled on him then. You have nothing. You forfeited everything When I what? He stepped closer, laptop forgotten. When I was framed? When someone destroyed my life to steal my company? Or when the woman I loved vanished without letting me explain? Those messages were written by Marcus Kane. The name hit me like ice water. Marcus, Alexander's former partner. Marcus, who'd been so sympathetic when I'd cried on his shoulder. Marcus, who'd offered to help me disappear. That's convenient, I managed. It's documented. He gestured to the laptop. Every fake account, every planted message. He paid Jennifer $20,000 to play along, to be seen with me at carefully staged moments. She confessed everything when I finally tracked her down in Portland. I have her sworn statement. My knees went weak. I sank onto the couch, the weight of possibility crushing me. If it was true, why? I whispered. Why would Marcus? Because I owned the patents. Because I wouldn't sell to his Chinese buyers. Because he thought if he broke me, I'd give up. Alexander sat beside me, careful not to touch. He was half right. I did break. Just not how he expected. From down the hall came the distinctive sound of my desktop computer booting up. Those little spies were at it again. Your sons, our sons, they're hackers? Alexander almost smiled. Ethan is. Liam's more the strategic planner. I rubbed my temples. They get the intelligence from both sides, apparently. Elena, his voice turned urgent. Marcus is on the hospital board now. He's been positioning himself for years. That's the real reason I'm here, not just the donation. I think he's planning something. Marcus is a respected... But I stopped. Marcus, who'd insisted I join the cardiac program. Marcus, who'd pushed for specific equipment purchases. Marcus, who'd been so interested in my research lately. My phone buzzed. Text from Ethan. Mom, come here, now. Important. I found both boys huddled around my computer, faces pale in the screen light. We maybe did something bad, Liam whispered. On the screen, Marcus Kane's email account wide open. Ethan Christopher Carter, you did not... Look, he pointed at an email thread. Look what he's saying about you. I leaned closer, Alexander behind me. The emails were recent, discussing the hospital's cardiac program. My name appeared repeatedly, along with phrases that made my blood run cold. Dr. Carter's emotional instability. Questionable judgment since her breakdown. Recommend investigation into surgical outcomes. He's trying to destroy your career, Alexander said quietly, just like he destroyed us. Mom? Liam's voice was small. Why does this man hate you? I looked at my brilliant, brave boys who'd hacked into a dangerous man's email to protect me. Then at Alexander, who'd carried proof of his innocence for 12 years. Finally, at the screen, where my professional destruction was being planned by the same man who'd orchestrated my personal one. Because, I said finally, sometimes the people we trust are the ones who hurt us most. Ethan's fingers flew over the keyboard. Want me to send these to the hospital board? No, Alexander and I said together. Marcus is dangerous, Alexander continued. If he knows we're on to him, a new email popped up. From Marcus to an unknown address. Deal with Carter tomorrow. Make it look accidental. The stairs during her morning rounds. We all stopped breathing. Tomorrow, I realized I was supposed to die. Pack now, Alexander's CEO voice emerged, all command and decision. You're not staying here tonight. We can't just… Mom, Ethan's face was white. He wants to hurt you, like actually hurt you. My brave boy was trembling. Both of them were. I pulled them close, feeling their hearts race against mine. It's okay. We're okay. But we weren't. We were in danger because I'd been blind, trusting, stupid. 5 minutes, I told Alexander. We pack and go to a hotel. My place, he countered. Security system, doorman, panic room. Panic room. Our lives had become a thriller novel. While I threw clothes into bags, the boys peppered Alexander with questions. Do you have Xbox? Is your TV bigger than ours? Can we see your lab? Boys, this isn't a sleepover, I started. Actually, Alexander said quietly, it kind of is. The first of many, I hope. I nearly dropped the bag. He stood in my doorway, watching me pack with 12 years of hunger in his eyes. Don't, I warned. Don't what? Don't hope. Don't dream about teaching them to code. Don't imagine family dinners where they call me Alexander. I missed everything, Elena. First words, first steps, first day of school. I'll never get that back. His voice cracked. But I'm here now, and someone wants to hurt you, hurt the mother of my children. So yes, you're coming to my place, and we're going to figure this out, together. The drive through Seattle's wet streets was surreal. The boys, exhausted from fear and adrenaline, dozed in the back of Alexander's Tesla. I sat rigid in the passenger seat, watching the city blur past. The code they write, Alexander said softly. It's elegant, intuitive. They think in algorithms. Like their father. The words slipped out before I could stop them. His hands tightened on the wheel. Tell me about them, please. What were they like as babies? When did they walk? What's their favorite? Ethan walked at 9 months, Liam at 11. They spoke in complete sentences by 18 months. Ethan loves Thai food and builds robots from scraps. Liam prefers Italian and solves Rubik's cubes in under a minute. They both have your mother's eyes and her stubborn streak. Ethan sleeps with a stuffed elephant named Marcus. I stopped, bile rising. Oh God, I let them name it after him. After the man who… Hey, Alexander reached over, squeezed my hand. You didn't know, neither of us knew. His penthouse was exactly what I'd expected. Glass and steel and modern art. But also unexpected things, a reading nook with worn paperbacks, a kitchen that showed actual use, photos of his mother who'd died while I was gone. Guest room's through there, he said, not meeting my eyes. Boys can take the room next door. We settled them first, tucking them into beds that probably cost more than my car. They fell asleep instantly, emotionally spent. Then it was just us, standing in his living room with Seattle spread below us like scattered diamonds. I need to know, I said. The night before I found those messages. Thursday, April 12th. Where were you? He didn't hesitate. With my mother. She'd had a microstroke. I spent the night at Mount Sinai. You said you were at the office. I didn't want to worry you before your finals. Mom made me promise not to tell anyone. You know how proud she was. He moved to a bookshelf, pulled out a photo album. Here, hospital records. Time-stamped photos. Everything. I flipped through the evidence of his innocence. Photos of him haggard in a hospital chair. Medical forms with his signature. A selfie his mother had insisted on, both of them trying to smile despite the circumstances. She died thinking I'd driven you away, he said quietly. She loved you so much, Elena. Kept asking when you'd visit, when she'd meet her grandchildren. I couldn't tell her the truth. That I didn't know where you were, that you'd vanished like smoke? The album slipped from my numb fingers. I robbed her of them, of her grandsons. You were protecting them from someone you thought had betrayed you. He knelt, gathering the scattered photos. But Elena, I need to know. Was there any part of you that doubted? That thought maybe, just maybe, I wasn't capable of. Yes. The admission burned. Every day, every time Ethan laughed like you, every time Liam solved impossible problems, every time I looked at them and saw the man I'd loved, not the monster I'd imagined. Then why didn't you? Because doubt wasn't enough, I exploded. Because I had 2 babies to protect. Because trusting you again meant risking everything. And now? I looked at him kneeling there, surrounded by photos of the life we'd lost. Now someone wants me dead, and you're the only person I trust to keep us safe. Figure that out. He stood slowly, hope and heartbreak warring in his eyes. I'll take it. It's a start. But as we strategized about Marcus, about safety, about tomorrow, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were missing something. Some crucial piece that would make everything make sense. The answer would come at 3 a.m., delivered by 2 boys who'd inherited more than just their father's genius. Mom, wake up! I jolted awake to find both boys standing by my bed, laptop between them, faces grave in the blue screen light. What's wrong? Are you okay? We couldn't sleep, Liam said, so we kept digging. Into Marcus Kane's stuff, Ethan added, as if hacking was a reasonable insomnia cure. Alexander appeared in the doorway, hair mussed from sleep. What's happening? The boys exchanged looks. Should we tell him too? Ethan asked me. He's our dad, right? Liam said it so matter-of-factly, my heart cracked. We did the genetic analysis. 99.97% probability. You did what now? Alexander moved closer, wonder in his voice. Later, I said. What did you find? Ethan turned the laptop toward us. Marcus Kane wasn't working alone 12 years ago. He had help. Someone who knew you really well. Someone who could predict exactly how you'd react to those messages. My blood went cold. Who? Liam clicked to another screen. An old email thread appeared, dated 2 weeks before I'd found those fateful messages. The sender made me gasp. No, that's not possible. But there it was, in black and white. My adoptive mother, the woman who'd raised me after my parents died, discussing my relationship with Marcus. She won't listen to reason about the boy, too much like her birth mother, stubborn, blind to reality. But if she thought he'd betrayed her, Marcus's reply. The secretary idea could work. Elena's proud. She'd never forgive infidelity. I'll handle her after, get her away, help her heal. She'll thank me eventually. The room tilted. Alexander's arms came around me before I hit the floor. Breathe, he murmured. Just breathe. She knew. My mother knew I was pregnant when I went to her. She helped me hide, encouraged me to stay away, said you weren't worth. I couldn't continue. Why would Grandma do that? Liam's voice was small, hurt, because she'd never approved of Alexander. Too ambitious, she'd said. Too much like the man who'd left my birth mother. She'd seen patterns that weren't there, projected old hurts onto new love. Call her, Alexander said quietly. It's time for truth. My hands shook as I dialed. She answered on the second ring, voice sharp despite the hour. Elena, what's wrong? I know, Mom. I know what you did. Silence. Then, where are you? Are you with him? How could you? My voice broke. You stole 12 years from us, from your grandsons. I protected you, she snapped. That boy would have destroyed you, just like your father destroyed your mother. I couldn't watch it happen again. My father died in a car accident. After leaving her for another woman, you were too young to remember her tears, her breakdown. History repeats, Elena. I saved you from that. You destroyed me. I was sobbing now. Alexander never cheated. It was all lies, and you knew. I did what I thought. No. My voice turned steel. You did what you wanted. You saw a chance to control my life and took it. We're done, Mother. Don't contact me again. I hung up, cutting off her protests. The boys stared at me wide-eyed. Mom? Ethan whispered. I pulled them close. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you had to hear that. But now you know Dad didn't do anything bad, Liam said logically. So you can be together again, right? If only it were that simple. Alexander hadn't moved, still holding me steady. Elena, not now. I couldn't process his nearness, his warmth, the safety I'd always felt in his arms. We need to focus on Marcus, on staying alive. Right. He shifted into business mode, though his hand lingered on my shoulder. I've been thinking, Marcus wants you gone because you're close to something, some discovery or innovation that threatens him. I froze. The new cardiac mesh I'd been developing, the one that could revolutionize infant heart surgery. Marcus had been pushing me to share my research, to let his team help. Oh my God, the mesh. He wants to steal the mesh. What mesh? All three males asked in unison. I laughed, despite everything, at their synchronized confusion, at the absurdity of explaining my life's work at 3 a.m. while in mortal danger. I'll show you, I said. But first, we need a plan, because if Marcus can't steal it, he'll make sure no one else can have it either. Already on it, Ethan said, fingers flying over keys. I'm sending everything we found to the FBI cybercrime unit, and the hospital board, and the Seattle Times. Ethan! What? He tried to hurt our mom. Nuclear option, baby. Alexander ruffled Ethan's hair with obvious pride. That's my boy. And for the first time in 12 years, I didn't correct him. By 6 a.m., Marcus Kane's world was imploding. The FBI had raided his home. The hospital board had called an emergency meeting. The Seattle Times was preparing an exposé, all because a 10-year-old genius decided nobody messed with his mother. You realize you've started a war, Alexander said, watching the news coverage from his kitchen. He started it 12 years ago, I replied, gripping my coffee mug. We're ending it. The boys sat at the breakfast bar, demolishing pancakes Alexander had made from scratch. Apparently, he'd learned to cook in our years apart. Just another reminder of all I'd missed. So what's the plan? Liam asked, syrup dripping down his chin. You two are going to school with a security detail, I said. What? No way. We're staying with you, Ethan protested. This isn't negotiable. But Mom, your mother's right, Alexander interrupted. But I promise, nothing will happen to her. I'll make sure of it. The boys studied him with those two intelligent eyes. Some silent communication passed between them before Ethan nodded. Okay, but we want updates every hour. Deal, Alexander agreed. 2 hours later, I stood before the hospital board, Alexander at my side. Half the seats were empty. Marcus's allies had fled like rats. The remaining members looked shell-shocked. Dr. Carter, the chief of staff began. We owe you an apology. The evidence against Dr. Kane is overwhelming. I don't want apologies, I said. I want guarantees. My research, my position, my team, all protected. And I want Marcus's entire network investigated. Of course, whatever you need. But as we left the meeting, my phone rang. Marcus. Don't answer, Alexander warned. I ignored him. Marcus, you clever bitch. His voice was unhinged, desperate. 12 years of planning, ruined by your brats. Turn yourself in, Marcus. It's over. Oh, it's not over. See, I still have one card to play. Check your email. My blood froze. With trembling fingers, I opened my messages. A video file waited. I clicked play and nearly dropped the phone. Security footage from the hospital parking garage. Today's date. 11:42 a.m., 15 minutes from now. A figure in scrubs planting something under a car. My car. Boom, Marcus whispered. Unless you bring me the mesh research. Alone, loading dock. 10 minutes. The line went dead. Elena, no. Alexander grabbed my arm. We call the police. There's no time. If that bomb, then we evacuate the garage. And cause a panic? Risk hundreds of people? I shook my head. I know Marcus. He's desperate, but not suicidal. He wants the research, not a body count. You're not going alone. Yes, I am. I pulled free. This is my fight. Our fight, he corrected. Elena, I just got you back. I'm not losing you again. And I won't risk you getting hurt because of my choices. Your choices? He laughed bitterly. My choice to love you started this. My choice to trust the wrong person. My choice to not fight harder when you left. Don't you dare shut me out now. We stood there, facing off in the hospital corridor like 12 years ago. But this time I saw what I'd missed then. Not arrogance, but terror. Not control, but love. Together? I whispered. Always should have been. We moved fast. Alexander called his security team while I grabbed my research files. Decoys mostly. The real work lived in my head and encrypted drives. But Marcus didn't need to know that. The loading dock was dim, rain creating curtains of gray. Marcus waited by a van, wild-eyed and sweating. You brought him? He gestured at Alexander with a gun I hadn't expected. Insurance, I said calmly. The research for our safety, that was the deal. There was no deal. Marcus's hand shook. You ruined everything. The company, the patents, the life I deserved. You had a life. Alexander stepped forward. Partnership, friendship, success. But it wasn't enough, was it? Shut up! The gun swung toward him. Time slowed. I saw Marcus's finger tighten. Saw Alexander move to shield me. Saw everything I'd lost and found about to disappear again. No! I shoved Alexander aside as the gun fired. Pain bloomed in my shoulder. The world tilted. Dimly, I heard shouting, sirens, Alexander's voice breaking as he pressed something to the wound. Elena, stay with me. Please. The boys need you. I need you. I wanted to tell him I was sorry, that I loved him, that 12 years was too long to waste. But darkness was winning. The last thing I heard was Marcus screaming as FBI agents swarmed. Justice, finally. Just maybe too late. I woke to the sound of rain and whispered arguments. She likes the blue Jell-O, not the green. No way. She always picked green at home. Boys, a deeper voice intervened. How about we ask her when she wakes up? I'm awake, I croaked. 3 faces appeared above me. 2 small, one gorgeously exhausted. Alexander looked like he'd aged years in however long I'd been out. Mom! The boys tried to hug me simultaneously. Gentle, Alexander warned. Her shoulder. I'm okay. I wasn't, but they needed to hear it. How long? 2 days, Alexander said. Surgery went well. Marcus is in custody, and these 2 haven't left your side except when security literally carried them to the cafeteria. We took shifts, Ethan explained proudly, like real bodyguards. And we finished your mesh calculations, Liam added. Dad helped with the polymer equations. Dad. They'd said it so naturally, like they'd been saying it forever. Alexander's eyes met mine over their heads. We should talk, I said softly. Boys, why don't you get your mom some of that Jell-O you were fighting about? Alexander suggested. They scampered off, still debating colors. Alexander took the chair beside my bed, close enough to touch but maintaining distance. I'm sorry, we said simultaneously. You first, I said. I'm sorry I didn't fight harder 12 years ago. Sorry I let pride keep me from searching every corner of the earth. Sorry you had to raise them alone. His voice cracked. Sorry you took a bullet meant for me. I'm sorry I didn't trust you. Sorry I ran instead of confronting you. Sorry I kept them from you. Tears slipped down my cheeks. I'm so sorry, Alexander. He caught my tears with his thumb, the gesture achingly familiar. Where do we go from here? I don't know. 12 years is a long time. We're different people now. Are we? He pulled something from his pocket, a small velvet box, worn at the edges. I've carried this every day since you left. Through board meetings and bankruptcies, through nights I thought I'd go insane from missing you. Different people don't do that, Elena. Inside was the ring he'd designed himself. Not the flashy diamond I'd expected back then, but a delicate band with our initials woven together in white gold. The cardiac mesh pattern we'd dreamed up that first night. You kept it. I kept everything. Every photo, every note, every dream we shared. Just like you did. He gestured to my locket, the one I'd never removed. We're not different people. We're the same idiots who fell in love over cardiac equations and coffee, just with more scars and 2 brilliant reasons to try again. The boys burst back in, Jell-O cups in hand, and froze at the scene. Is that... Ethan's eyes went wide. Are you... Liam couldn't finish. Your mother and I have some things to figure out, Alexander said carefully. But you love each other, right? Ethan demanded. I mean, it's obvious. You look at each other all gross and stuff. And you made us together, Liam added with scientific precision. That's basically marriage in biological terms. Boys, I started. Plus, Mom cried over your pictures, Ethan continued ruthlessly. And you still have her coffee mug in your kitchen. We saw it. Alexander blinked. You went through my kitchen? Duh, background check, Liam said. You passed, by the way, mostly. Mostly? Your movie collection needs work. Too many documentaries. I laughed, then winced as it pulled my shoulder. These boys. Our boys. So? Ethan pressed. Are you getting married or what? Alexander looked at me. Really looked. Like he had that first night at Columbia when I'd suggested we could change pediatric medicine together. I don't know, he said honestly. But I'd like to try. Date. Court you properly this time. Show up for soccer games and science fairs. Learn which twin likes which jello. He squeezed my hand. Prove that not all storms end in destruction. Sometimes they just clear the air. That's the cheesiest thing I've ever heard, Ethan declared. I liked it, Liam countered. You would? As they bickered, Alexander leaned closer. What do you say, Elena? Want to solve the equation of us? The rain picked up outside, drumming against the windows. But this time it didn't feel ominous. It felt like renewal. Like all those tears heaven had been storing were finally washing the past clean. No more running, I whispered. No more secrets. No more wasted years, he agreed. When he kissed me, gentle and reverent, the boys made exaggerated gagging noises. But they were grinning. We all were. 12 years of pain couldn't disappear overnight. Trust would take time. Integration would be messy. But as I sat there, surrounded by my family, complete for the first time, I knew we'd figure it out. After all, we'd solved harder equations than this. The rain continued, steady and sure, and for once, I was grateful for it. Every drop a reminder that sometimes the best things come back to you, carried on storms you never saw coming. Sometimes the rain brings you home.
Life can break you in ways you never expect, but truth always finds its way through the storm. Never let lies or fear steal years from your happiness. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs hope. Hit like and subscribe for more stories that remind us love deserves a second chance.